Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to another My Restaurant video. So earlier on today, I went ahead and got the absolute pleasure of sitting down with David, the developer for My Restaurant, where I went ahead and asked him a lot of questions that you guys submitted over on my Discord as well as in the community tab. And man, we talked about a lot of really interesting things that have been really spoken about throughout the community. Things like how happy they are with the marketplace right now, a little bit of a teaser of the Halloween update, as well as even a little bit of context on why exactly they made the changes to the current Royal set. So I'm gonna go ahead and play that entire interview for you guys. As always, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like on it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for all types of different content. And again, I want to give a huge shout out to David. Thank you so much for taking the time to sitting down and actually answering these questions. It was honestly a lot of fun, and I really got to have some super amazing conversations with him on and off camera. But anyways, here's the entire interview. I hope that you guys enjoy.
Hello.
Yo.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, man?
Not much. Thanks for doing this.
Nah, man, thank you. Honestly, this whole entire, maybe like the last 20 minutes, I've been having a slight panic attack, but it's cool.
What?
Cool. So, for starters, all right, one that I actually want to ask you myself, which I'm really curious, did the global market update turn out to be what you guys expected?
Oh, okay. So I'm really happy we did the global market update. Preston gave me the idea of that. He was talking about games like World of Warcraft, and if you've played RuneScape, there's this thing called the Grand Exchange. Basically, the same idea is the global market. We really wanted to do something with limited items, but we wanted to create an economy, and we didn't know how to do that without allowing players to sell items to each other. The global market took a long time to do. I spent a month on programming that because Roblox doesn't really allow you to communicate between servers very easily. So, you go into the global market and you can see listings from other servers. Roblox, the API doesn't really allow you to do that easily. So we needed to getting a bit technical, I guess, but we need to create an external web server. We use Heroku, an external database. So it was all this work to get the servers to communicate data between each other easily. And it was a lot of work. We spent a month on it. There were no updates for a month. But in the end, I'm really glad we did it because it allows us to pump out so many limited items, and it gives endgame players a reason to come back. I think a problem with the game in the first month or so was people were playing all night. They were leaving the game running on their devices so they could get all this money and on the leaderboards. But there's really no point. At the time, the endgame item was the Royal set, right?
Right.
Before it was limited, and it was like 1 million and 1.5 million for the table and chair, if I remember correctly. And people are getting full Royal sets and still playing, but there is, not much of a reason to, unless you were trying to get on the top 10 leaderboard. So we wanted to create an economy so that people could strive towards items that were much more expensive. And it's so cool to see the economy finding itself. Players really set the price. There was a little bit of a slip up when the market got compromised. That was disappointing. Literally, the problem was that I spent all this time on the security for the market, and it was really good, and the security is perfect, but I dragged one script into the wrong folder. That's what the entire mistake was, is I dragged one script into the wrong folder, and then someone was able to access it.
Dude, honestly, I was in complete shock when that happened.
Yeah, I was really disappointed because we put so much time into building this economy, because at the time, a few billion cash was most anyone would have. And then all of a sudden, there are people running around with tens of billions. We did our best to flush it out. If I remember correctly, there's this cash earned statistic in settings that shows how much cash you've earned overall from your restaurant.
Right.
So we reset people to 8 times that if they had surpassed that, which wasn't a perfect fix, but we had to. But at the time, the market had only been out for 2 days, so all those profits would have been from that exploit. But it pumped some money into the economy, and then items inflated a little bit. But over time, there's that marketplace fee of 20% whenever you sell an item. So, over time, that should hopefully help the inflation a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And especially with the introduction of like limited items and stuff like that, it's really been flushing a lot of like the billions that are circling around.
Oh yeah, for sure. we had the market crash cactus right after that fatal day. That was actually really funny because Press and I went from being really disappointed and upset that we put all this work into the market, and then it kind of went badly into just a joke of of trying to flush as much money out of the economy as we could. So we were trying to figure out what we could do, and we came up with a market crash cactus out of nowhere. I thought that was
But
hilarious.
the cactus originally was going to be released as something else, right?
Right. It was going to be the space cactus.
Yeah, okay. Because I remember talking about the space cactus, and then all of a sudden it just got redone, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, that was very on the fly. We did that in about 10 minutes as we were.
It was
patching all
perfect
the
though.
problems.
It was perfect though. It was literally perfect. Perfect. You guys could have really just ignored the whole entire situation, right? But instead you turned it into something that, you know, it helped out everybody at the end of the day, and it was content.
Exactly. Yeah, we were trying to turn a negative into a positive. That was the
Right,
idea.
right. So overall, you'd say that the market was a success and that you guys are extremely happy with it.
Oh yeah, I think so. I sometimes just go in a game and I watch the little billboard that shows the recent sales. It's the
Oh,
most
okay,
fun
cool.
event.
So I'm not the only weird person that does that. Okay, cool.
No, not at all. We were even considering going as far as making graphs that would show how the recent average price of items has changed over time, things like that. We didn't end up going that deep, but I had a lot of fun on the market. That's one of my favorite little projects that I've ever done, Roblox or not.
So this is one of the questions that I didn't really want to ask you, but I'm gonna try it anyways.
Okay.
Is the little podiums with the coming soon, is that still a thing?
Gotcha. Yeah. So so what that originally was meant for was it was gonna display the top 10 most expensive limited items, and it would automatically update to put, you know, like the number 1 most expensive item on the market would sit on podium number 1, and then number 2 would sit on podium 2. Right as we were releasing the global market, we realized we totally forgot about those podiums. So in the future, it's still on our list. It's still on our list of things to do, which is why we left the coming soon in the podiums there. So yeah, that's coming someday.
Okay, awesome. So, okay, I guess since you answered that one, then I guess I can really, you know, dabble into a couple of more aggressive questions. Okay, another one that a lot of people were really asking was, are you guys planning to do more things aside from just limiteds and customers as far as like content for the game?
So we kind of decide what we want to do for an update week to week. We don't really have anything planned ahead past, say, Halloween. I do want to say we're planning on doing a live event for Halloween. So the answer to that question is yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds exciting.
For that, yeah, Halloween's gonna be a really cool update. We have a lot of ideas that aren't just, you know, a new customer or new limiteds.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, you caught me off guard when you replied to that tweet. I didn't think you were gonna acknowledge it.
Well, because I was thinking about that too. I want to do a really cool seasonal event. Yeah, that just gave me an opportunity to put it out there. So
does that mean that it's possible that we could get more seasonal events?
Christmas is very possible. I mean, we haven't thought far enough ahead to Christmas, but you know, we're gonna do our best to do something seasonal and cool.
I guess we'd have to really see how the Halloween one performs, and then at that point you would decide.
Yeah, for sure. Live events are also scary because if something goes wrong, then it goes really wrong.
Yeah.
Because your game gets a lot of exposure out of nowhere, and you're under this really bright light, and if you mess up, then it's bad.
Yeah, even the slightest mess up would be just catastrophic.
That's worst case scenario. We don't want to run into something like that because, you know, if you do a live event, I'm sure we'll get flooded with a lot of players that either haven't ever played or haven't played in a while, and then if you let down there, then it's pretty bad. Yeah.
All right, the next one is actually from somebody, I believe, in the Discord. It's Mythical Pumpkins. He said, is trading still planned? Because I know that you guys did talk about trading. Well, I think Preston did after the global market, but I don't know if that's something that you guys are still considering.
Right. We talked about trading. We haven't said whether or not we're going to do it yet. It brings a lot of difficulties, like duping and exploit wise.
Yeah.
If we were to do something like that, it would most likely be, you know, one problem people have is when they sell items to each other on the global market, you don't always see all the auctions. So if someone wants to sell something to their friend won't necessarily see the auction on the global market. So that's a lot of the reason why people want trading. The fix would probably be to improve the global market so that you could search for a friend and just buy their item directly, as opposed to actually trading. I don't want to say we're not going to do trading, but it's
something that's kind of floating around.
Right, exactly. It's kind of on the global market scale of work. It takes a lot of effort to implement trading, and there are a lot of things that can go wrong with it. So I know Preston, when he had Pet Simulator 1 way back when, he had some problems with trading, so he was giving me lots of warnings about what could go wrong, you know, duping, things like that.
One of my subscribers, his name's Tave. He said, what are you majoring in college?
So I go to Tufts University near Boston, Massachusetts, in the School of Engineering. I'm a computer science major. And I have a math minor as well. I've been big into computer science since I was young. I'm sure there are a lot of people who are watching that maybe want to get into developing, which I think is awesome. I myself started out just a player on Roblox, and then I slowly got into developing until suddenly I was just making games and not playing them anymore for the most part. But yeah, I started really programming on Roblox when I was 13 or 14. And it was actually that early that I decided I'd be a computer science major. I kind of fell in love with programming, and I've been doing it ever since. Yeah, so I think I would highly, highly recommend computer science. I think it is one of the most rewarding majors. It's fun. Programming is a blast. It makes some awesome products. Every game on Roblox has a ton of programming. You really can't make a game without knowing how to code and all that good stuff. I'd recommend to anyone trying to learn to code, just go through and edit scripts. Don't try to make your own game or anything right off the bat. I think one mistake that a lot of people make is trying to learn to code by creating an entire game, and I don't think that's the way to do it, in my opinion. I think that starting small and making little projects that aren't really meant to go anywhere other than just for fun and learning, I think that's the way to do it. And then eventually, before you know it, you'll be able to make a full game.
Let me see. Kung Fu Daniel says, what's something you regret adding into My Restaurant?
I won't say something I regret, but something that I initially thought was bad, but now I'm happy we did, and that's making the Royal Set limited. We got a ton of pushback.
Dude, you just triggered everybody.
Yeah, no, I know. So we decided to make I want to explain why we did that, because I feel like we haven't really put out a statement why we decided to make the Royal Set limited. We decided to make the Royal Set limited pretty soon after releasing the market update. When the game first came out, we weren't thinking it all about building an economy and having a global market. That wasn't even part of the game, you know? It was just buy cool furniture, buy cool appliances, get cool customers, and get some cash. So we had the Royal Set originally just for cash, and people could buy them, and very quickly people filled up their entire restaurants with the Royal Set, and that became the norm. Was once you were an endgame player, you only had Royal Sets. There was really no point to have any other sort of furniture.
I'm guilty of that.
Yeah. I mean, it's the way to go, you know? You get the most cash by far using the Royal Sets. But then we introduced the global market, and we quickly realized that we didn't want that much money coming into the game, into the economy, because in one, if everyone had Royal Sets, there's kind of a content wall. We can't add more items to the game. Like, for example, the pirate customers, the YouTube customers, they have, you know, the gamer set, pirate set. We wouldn't have been able to introduce those Royal Sets were still not limited, because there'd be no point, you know, the Royal Sets would be better. The other option would be to make something better than the Royal Set, but then we get in a predicament where we have to constantly make items that are more and more OP, and we didn't want to do that. So instead, we decided to make them limited, and then slowly try to add in items that were nearing as good as the Royal Set, but not quite as good, but also scaled up in price. So, you know, the gamer set, for example, you can buy the gamer table and chair, but they scale up in price as you buy them, and the same with the pirate set. The reason we did that is we're really trying to prevent people from having an entire restaurant with just one set of furniture, and we also are trying to prevent people from just, you know, getting an infinite amount of cash and having a huge advantage over other people. It is true that people who originally bought the Royal Set do have an advantage. That's what happened. It's super OP, and it was meant to be endgame, and the definition of endgame kind of changed as the global market was introduced, and we still wanted the Royal Set to be endgame, so we made it limited, if that makes sense.
If we go through like all the questions, there's so many people that are asking about the Royal stuff, and just people saying like, oh, tell David to not make the Royals. Like, what makes people think that I can just tell you, hey, David, you know, make the Royals not limited, and you're gonna be like, yeah, Carbon, I'll do it.
Trust me, I read every single comment saying make the Royal Sets unlimited. I was disappointed that we saw that much pushback when we first did it. I knew people wouldn't be happy. I didn't know they'd be that unhappy, but I think it worked out at the end, because now we're able to introduce more content and people will actually use it, you know?
The way that I felt when you guys made it limited was that I thought people were going to be happy about it, just because now Royals hold a value.
Right.
But it turned out to be the complete opposite. That video that I made where I talked about the Royals got an extreme amount of dislikes, which I'm perfectly fine with. I don't know. It was just really crazy to me that people reacted the way that they did. The new players outweigh the end game players, so I guess it kind of makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah, my thoughts are the exact same. I figured, oh, you know, people will be excited because now they have this item that's gone up in value. But really, it's the other way, where the players who didn't have it are upset that it went, you know, up in value.
Yeah, I guess my thought process was kind of biased, because I had like, you know, 200-300 of the Royal stuff.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But I mean, I don't know, man. All right, now these are two questions that have been kind of eating me alive since the release of the game, and I really, really want to know.
Sure.
So, what's up with the empty slot next to the luxury stove?
Oh, I don't even. There's an empty slot?
Yeah, it's been there since release, dude.
Oh no, I don't even know. I think it's just the way the shop is laid out.
Honestly, we've all predicted that maybe there was something coming after luxury, but like we've all seen the updates drop and never seen a stove. So is luxury really where it's stopping?
So Oh, there is a spot now that I'm looking at it. I didn't even notice that before. Yeah, that's unintentional. We didn't do that on purpose. I don't want to say we're not going to do any more stoves. The reason we haven't is because, the luxury items are already so good.
Yeah.
You can't get a whole lot better. If we were to introduce new stoves, it would have to be something other than just a faster cook time. It would have to interact with your cooks in some special way.
Yeah.
Which could be coming. That could be coming. Press and I have talked about it, so I don't want to say that that's not happening. But that little spot next to the luxury stove is unintentional. Good catch, though. I didn't even notice that till now.
All right, so now the other hot topic. You probably can't answer this one, but will there ever be an option for like staff members to be assigned to specific floors, or is that something that you guys are not planning to do?
I think that'll be a thing. I've been wanting to do that for a while. Also, we were considering being able to lock them to a floor or being able to lock them to a single activity, like making a waiter only pick up dishes. That's actually not hard to do at all. That would fit perfectly into the code base. So that's something I want to do for sure, and that should be coming eventually.
And this is more of like a personal request to you, but would it be possible for us to have like just one button where we can pick everything up in our restaurant?
Oh, I wanted to do that for floors way back when, before the game came out.
Dude, I want that so bad.
Yeah. No, that's a really good idea. I wanted to.
That would literally save me so much time when I'm testing these layouts.
I wanted to do something on the floor panel where you could click a little X and it would just wipe the floor. That's something.
Yes.
Yeah. See, again, like that's something that very easily can be coded. So yeah,
but you guys are pushing out like limited items, 5-6 limited items every week. So I mean, I'm sure that you guys have like your hands tied right now.
Yeah, we actually the limited items don't take a whole lot of work. We usually do them on Friday nights. It takes 5 or 6 hours limited items.
Oh, so that's the reason why I never get leaks. Thanks, David.
Yeah, we do them all Friday night for the most part. The problem is just being busy with life. I'm in school right now, so it's hard to put a ton of focus into the game. It was a lot nicer over the summer when I was quarantined over the summer for a while, and that's when my restaurant was created for the most part, was during the coronavirus quarantine. So I literally there were days where I would code 16 hours a day, or weeks rather. I had this phase where all I did was work on my restaurant. So that's why it came out pretty quickly, because the bulk of my restaurant was created in June, in about a month.
How do you feel about the state of the prices in the auction house right now? So I guess it's going back to the auction house.
One thing I will say is that I want to do more items with high quantity that are initially low price, so that somewhat early game players can get to them, because I know that there are definitely some items that are up there in price. But to answer that question, I know that there are definitely some items that are really up there in value and not quite enough low value items. So hopefully, for some of the seasonal drops like the Halloween update and potentially Christmas update, we'll try to put in some more limited items that are really high quantity. Like, for example, the penthouse items are pretty high quantity, so they're somewhat low price. I'm looking at like the salad bar. I thought was a great item, right? It's under $1 million right now, which I think is a pretty fair price, and it helps a good amount. So we want to introduce a lot more items like that are pretty high quantity, low price. I don't know how many more items like the luxury silverware tray. Like, that's 24 billion right now. The future set's 50 million. I love the arcade machine. That's an item I want to do. I want to have Preston do more retextures of. Preston does all for the arcade machine in the big paintball edition one. He did the textures for those. So really pushing out new arcade machines is as simple as getting a texture to fit it. I love those items. They're my favorite.
The arcades are sick, because like you guys have pretty much made it now where they're literally like a collector's item. Because I mean, the big paintball one is, to keep it 100% real, not all that great. But as far as like stats wise, I'm not talking about how it looks. It's really good to have if you're like collecting the limiteds and stuff.
Yeah, right. We have a lot of limiteds that aren't necessarily meant to be great items just to be collected. And there'll probably be more cosmetics like that in the future, but then also some items that are legitimately good. We'll try to be diverse.
Are we going to see an improvement maybe to the money hedge?
Probably not to the money hedge. I think the money hedge is going to stay where it is, but we're looking at responses to how people like the items, and in the future we're going to try to make, we're still trying to perfect the scaling of the items. I wrote the function that gives money based on level pretty quickly before release, so that'll be tweaked and made better as more items release. Yeah,
because it's definitely it's really interesting to see that the money hedge, that was what, like 600 Robux, I believe?
Yes.
It's interesting to me to see that that's dropped under 1 billion, because an item that's 600 Robux should not be at that price. It should easily be, I mean, it sounds a little ridiculous, but it should probably be around the 2-3 billion range.
No, I agree. So I think what happens with a lot of the Robux items is people buy it and then they have to make the decision, do I keep this item or do I sell it? And if they don't think it's worthwhile, then I think that's a good thing, because are guaranteed to get something out of their purchase with Robux. If they buy an item and they don't like it, then they can sell it and get a lot of money on the market for the most part. Usually Robux items are up there.
The penthouse rope, man, that was like super cheap Robux, and people are making billions off of that thing, dude.
That item is crazy. I don't know what it is.
All right, well, I don't want to take up any more of your time, man. This was actually amazing, and seriously, I know that you said thank you to me, but like thank you to you, dude, because I know that you're busy, regardless whether you're free today. I know that you're busy all the time, and I just appreciate the fact that you actually watch my videos and that you reached out to me, because that was mind-blowing to me. I didn't think that I didn't even believe that was you when you commented the first time on my video. I thought for sure somebody was trolling me, but I mean, then we talked through DMs and stuff, and
yeah, of course. Listen, dude, okay, I'm 20 years old and I code. That's all. Like, this is the first game I've ever made that has had any real attention, so it's crazy. I'm just a dude.
That's gonna go ahead and end off the interview, but again, if you guys enjoyed it, make sure to drop a like on the video. It does help my content get out there. But like always, that's gonna go ahead and do it for today's video. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.